Welcome to Transformative Talks, an intentional wellness podcast dedicated to education, enlightenment, and empowerment through meaningful connection. Through thoughtful conversations with fellow wellness and holistic practitioners, we explore the many pathways to well-being. Each episode is designed to expand understanding, spark curiosity, and offer practical insights you can integrate into your everyday life. Our intention is to inspire your own positive transformation and support you in creating a more empowered life. Hello, and welcome back to Transformative Talks. I'm your host, Chelsey Gilbert, and today we're doing another installment of Living Intentionally. I have Jill Howell here to chat with me today. She is an embodied self-leadership coach, a somatic practitioner, and a nervous system educator. And I've known Jill for a couple of years now. We met, I can't remember exactly how we met, but we're in a very similar space in terms of what we do for clients and how we help people. I know we're going to have a whole lot to discuss. We're going to have some great conversation. So thank you so much for being here, Jill.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for this conversation.
Yeah. So I always ask people when they come on, what was it that drew you to this line of work? Were there any things that happened in your life, in your own healing journey? What did that look like for you?
So for me, I had my second dark night of the soul experience. It was a moment of just really dark depression, anxiety, chronic pain in 2020. So just 6 years ago. And once I hit that second wave of it feeling so heavy that I wasn't necessarily taking steps towards suicide, but I would pray, like, God, will you just take me? Take me, because I don't like life and I don't like this world and everything feels hard. And at that point, I had been doing talk therapy, just traditional cognitive talk therapy for 20 years off and on. And so I felt like I had been trying. I felt like I had been putting in effort and it still wasn't enough for my sensitive nervous system. So when I started discovering a somatic approach and I started really learning how to retrain my brain, it's like my whole world opened up. And as soon as I started learning all of these new things, I was like, wow, people need to know more about this. Like, why is this not being integrated enough into the counseling therapy practice? Why is it taking me so long to find this? Because it really, truly unlocked a lot for me. I realized that as I got diagnosed with CPTSD, that the chronic pain I was having, even though I was trying everything to get rid of the pain, we're talking thousands of dollars on massage, acupuncture, dry needling, cupping, physical therapy, chiropractic work, all of it would just give me short-term relief, but none of it gave me long-term relief because it was energetic emotions, like stored and held in my neck and my shoulders. So for me, once I started moving through emotions differently in my relationship with myself and my relationship with the emotions that were coming up changed, that's when the pain started dissipating and softening. And I started learning that I could actually do tangible things to soften my body, to help my body have that felt sense of safety. Because really, at the root of it all, I felt very unsafe within myself and very unsafe in the world at large. So that was my big catalyst.
So going through that journey and learning how to empower yourself with different things and different somatic practices. And you mentioned CPTSD. I was just curious. I know what that is because I also struggle with that,
Yeah.
but listeners may not understand what CPTSD is. So could you explain a little bit about what that is?
Sure. Yeah. CPTSD is complex post-traumatic stress disorders. It means it's layered. It means it's complex. It means that it's not just a one-time event type of thing. For me, my trauma that I was going through in 2020 triggered emotional trauma from my childhood. So it brought about all of the same feelings and it intensified and got very entangled for me. So complex CPTSD usually means a little bit of stacked traumas in there, or over long periods of time.
I think that's one thing that people don't realize is that trauma can stack up over the years. And I see that one of the trainings that you've had, it has to do with fascia as well. And I work with fascia. And when I explain to people that some of the things that they're coming in with that
maybe chronic or maybe mystery symptoms that they come in with, it can be linked to a chronically dysregulated nervous system. And that's one of the things that you work with, is helping people to regulate their nervous system. So what are some of the ways that you do that?
I'm wondering if we should explain too a little bit about what somatic means, because the somatic approach for me isn't just the somatic tools that I'm using. My training is in somatic internal family systems and IFS work, which is also known as parts work. And so the somatic healing portion of what I do is the meat and potatoes of the one-to-one coaching that I do for women. It integrates that, but all of my classes, online and in person, are always having that as an underlying integration piece. It's kind of like the root of it. So I'm always going to the body first. So somatic means, for me, I'm going at it from a somatic connection to myself. So that comes from the word soma, which is a Greek word that means body. It's of the living body. It's the experience, the felt experience of what is happening on the inside of us, not just a somatic tool, which some people will use the word somatic to describe, like yoga or breath work is somatic. And all of these different tools and practices are also considered somatic because they're integrating the body. But what I do that's so different is that I really help women to come home to their body in a really loving, compassionate way. So what that looks like is closing your eyes, connecting with your body, doing some grounding practices like coming into your breath, feeling, your feet grounded, feeling the support of a chair underneath you, allowing your nervous system to start feeling the safety that you are creating. Oftentimes I call it home base. I tell my clients and the women in my classes, I'm like, let's go back to home base, which means we're putting one hand or two hands on our heart, or maybe one hand on our stomach, and we're just holding ourselves here. We're allowing our body to actually feel the sense of safety and the care that we actually are stopping and coming towards ourselves with love. And then we're recognizing where our body is holding tension, or where it feels constricted, where it feels heavy or closed off energetically. And then we're connecting with our body and asking our body, what's here? What are you holding here? And we just listen. This is always a centerpiece of everything that I do. Is like, let's just listen. Let's be present with ourselves. So then, of course, I intertwine things like EFT tapping, which is amazing. That is my most favorite powerhouse tool because it integrates cognitive processing along with a somatic energetic flow of acupressure points. It was very powerful for me to learn the practice of EFT tapping. As you tap on your body and these different meridian points, you're actually moving stuck energy through your body as you're processing out loud what's happening on the inside of you. So if I were to give like one tangible tool that people could go and easily look up and find YouTube videos and dig into, it would be EFT tapping for sure, which stands for emotional freedom technique. Yeah, but otherwise I'm integrating things like somatic yoga moves, which are very trauma-informed, gentle, flowing movement to allow the fascia to unwind. Breath work, movement, but also coming into a space of free, conscious movement. So, AKA dance, which is why I call my business Dancing in the Mess, because literally it is a piece of everything I do. I mean, at the end of all of my classes, we are moving freely with joy. We are accessing and showing our body it's safe to access joy again. So our bodies can inform our brains so much faster. And so the rewiring of my brain happened much faster when I showed my body, when I took my body through physiological experiences that then could inform my brain of something different, of the safety that I could experience to move towards peace, towards joy, towards possibility, towards expansion. And I began to realize I could build new neural pathways that way. And so everything I do is about retraining the brain through the nervous system approach of the vagus nerve, letting that vagus nerve, which is our communication highway between brain and body, to send up, which it does 80% of the time, it's sending signals from the body all the way up to the brain, which is amazing. Only 20% goes down from the brain to the body on that vagus nerve communication highway. So knowing that was mind-blowing for me, and it made so much sense of why giving my body new experiences actually rewired my brain and gave me new neural pathways so much faster. And doing it in community with others is beautiful. It's amazing. I view it like a practice playground. Everything that I do that's like an online class or an in-person class or even my one-to-one coaching, I'm like, let's do, let's feel, let's be.
So I was curious, you mentioned that you work with women, but I was wanting to know, do you see a pattern or something that the women that come to you to get help and to reconnect with themselves, are they all struggling with similar things? What does that look like?
Heck yeah. We're all struggling with suppressed emotion. The bottom core root, if I were to choose one thing to say, would be that. That is like we've suppressed ourselves to be accepted, to belong, to stay safe. And a lot of times these conditioned operating systems, I like to call them like programming, this conditioned programming of our subconscious brain was created in childhood. And then many of us women become moms, and then we continue the pattern of overgiving and overdoing. And many of the women I work with are high achievers or perfectionistic or very critical of themselves. Their relationship with themselves is not always very kind. The way that they speak to themselves over and over again throughout the day, they beat themselves up a lot. They just are kind of overexhausted and burnt out by the patterns of anxiety and depression. Unfortunately, the thing that makes me the most sad is that women usually wait until they're really at their bottom, like when they're at their wit's end, when something is big enough to be a big enough catalyst to change is when they, finally start changing and making time for these things. But it's sad to me how many people need this that just continue to use that excuse of I'm just too busy. And it's more of a measurement of they don't value themselves enough. They don't think they're worthy enough of doing this work and seeing the benefit of how much it overflows into every relationship, marriage, relationship with kids, relationships with family members, friendships, work. This work is so all-inclusive. It didn't just change me. It was a ripple effect of starting to change everything in my life. So that's what I see the most for women. It breaks my heart.
Yeah, and I notice that a lot with clients that come in to me too. They're at a breaking point and it has manifested so heavily in chronic pain and different physical symptoms, and they don't know why. They can't make a connection as to why they're feeling this way.
Yeah.
They might exercise, they eat healthy, and it's just these strange random things that pop up in their body that it's just an expression of what's happening subconsciously and energetically too. So
Yes.
do you ever work or connect with like mental health therapists or people that do facilitate yoga to help enhance what you're doing for your clients? Do you have like a referral program or anything like that?
Well, I will say I offer in-person services and classes and workshops at Still Point Healing in Greenwood, and they are primarily a therapy office. So they have brought me in as an additional practitioner to work alongside of their clients too, and invite their clients to have a hybrid approach of the true deeper trauma resolution skills that they use. And because every practitioner there is very integrative with internal family systems and parts work, and I am too, but I'm coming at it from a somatic approach. They will sense into when clients need a more embodied somatic approach for rewiring and moving forward. And yeah, and so then of course, like we can cross promote and work together, which is beautiful.
What are some of the most profound changes you have seen in some of your clients by doing this work?
I come back to one of my clients who, one of my favorite things she ever said to me was, "You helped me to find me underneath the mess of it all." And she said the biggest compliment of my work was when other people started complimenting her and noticing how she was moving through stressful experiences and high emotionally driven moments. She wasn't overreacting, like the volcano wasn't overflowing onto her husband anymore. when she would feel an emotion, it wasn't coming out at other people anymore. It was actually, she had the skills to move through it differently, which was so beautiful. That's what I see across the board. I see women have new relationships with themselves and they start accessing more peace and joy. And literally, they start doing things that are fun for them. They start giving themselves permission to love their life and live a life that they actually love, which is amazing. And one of the coolest compliments I ever got to from one of my clients was, she's like, you aren't pushing religion at me, but she said, I feel closer to God after being in these coaching experiences with you because I now love myself and that love for my own self. And it's like the whole channel has opened up between me and God now too. And I'm not blocking it anymore, which is, it gives me chills and tingles just now. Like it makes me want to tear up right now saying that, 'cause that's my heart. My heart is for women to have such a deep felt sense of safety and connection and of love, of coming back into the presence of divine love and feeling it and receiving it, and then being able to give it more freely to others. Like that's how we transform the world, in my opinion.
This must have been powerful. And that is honestly what it's all about when I'm connecting with people and bringing people on here is I really appreciate having people that are so connected with a genuine intention to help, whether it's divine source or just intentional purpose, however they view that, and be able to help connect people with their own divinity and their own spirituality and allow them to connect in that way. And that's where healing happens, right? Where we can finally connect with that and allow that energy to flow through us and do what it needs to do and allow it to happen versus being so stuck in our heads in our everyday.
Yes, and it's coherence, right? It's
Hmm.
mind, body, spirit coherence that I'm after at least, and that's what has made the most benefit for my own self.
Hmm.
So it's transformed me from the inside out is the whole coherence, the harmony. Instead of my brain and my body being at a war within each other and the signals being different, meaning I'm trying to think and say affirmations or whatever and cognitively think my way to feeling this way. But if my body doesn't feel safe to experience that peace, that abundance, that safety, that joy, it's going to block me and stop me every time. They have to be in coherence. Like mind, body, spirit has to be integratively feeling safe enough to move forward in an aligned way in order to transform our life.
Yeah. And you were talking about the different live events that you host. Could you kind of walk me through? And I've never been to one. I've seen some different videos and things you've posted on social media, but I was just curious, what does that look like for people that, maybe want to attend, but they're nervous or they've never done something like that before? What's the flow and progression of those events like?
Sure. So all of my classes start with grounding and connection to ourselves authentically, coming back into our breath, coming back into the present moment. So I always start very lovingly and very gently, um, honoring that we're holding energetic space together and that everyone is valued and needed in this space, and just valuing and appreciating the hearts that are present. And then after a little bit of grounding and connection, we move into a sound bath. So everyone lays down and gets real cozy with blankets and pillows. And I use a few different instruments, but my main one is the crystal sound bowls. And I bring them into this really beautiful restorative brainwave state of delta and alpha wavelengths. It's so relaxing. Sometimes people fall asleep, but other times people just have this really softening of their body that they've never been able to experience on their own by just thinking their way there or just by even meditating or doing breath work or something. So then I bring them back into their body after that. So the sound bath is in the middle of my classes. And then we always move back into some of these gentle fascia releases, like coming into the body, doing some of the somatic yoga type things. And we start moving into fascial flow where we're flowing and the body is able to feel the flow of the gentle movements repeatedly, which is providing rhythm for our brain, for the left and right side of our brain to start flowing. And then we move into fun, and I invite lighthearted inner child play into everything that I do. So internal family systems is a piece of inner child healing, and inner child healing is so beautiful because as we create embodied reconciliation experiences for our inner child, we allow that little girl inside of us to come out and play again. We let her come out and enjoy life again because she knows how. Our true core self, our true nature knows. We know. We just forget. We get bogged down by the stressors and the traumas that happen that cause us to stay safe and stay small and quiet ourselves. And so I'm all about like inviting and creating environments where women can just feel free, where they can dance, where they can laugh, where they can twirl ribbon wands, where they can be silly. Also allow all parts of our human expressions. Women are like, it's amazing how much you can create a space where I cry and laugh in the same hour. In the same class, you create an experience where I feel so connected and tender to the parts of me that are in need and feel burdened. And I can leave feeling alive and with joy.
One of the things I notice is that people are so closed off from their inner child and their ability to play and to connect in that way. And it's so funny that you mentioned that because the other night I was feeling really overwhelmed, and we have one of those galaxy lights. And I just turned on music and I turned off the lights and I turned on the galaxy light, and I was like playing with my shadows and dancing and moving how it felt good. And I was like, I used to do this all the time when I was younger. I used to shut myself in my room, and I had all these fun lights, and I would play music, and I would just kind of cocoon myself and play and move and do things that felt good. And it just made me realize that we don't do that anymore. There's this feeling of judgment or feeling like I'm an adult and I'm not allowed. I have to act like a grown up. I have to go to work and I'm not allowed to connect with myself in that way. And there's definitely so much freedom and power in being able to just express yourself naturally, how it feels good.
Yes, 100%. So I like to integrate movement and even art into that somatic expression and letting our inner child, like, let us have that felt sense of just unwinding and softening of the body in so many different modalities that are actually really fun for our inner child. Like, our inner child wants to jump on trampolines. So what did I do? I bought myself a rebounder. And I'm like, I jump on my trampoline daily, right? Because it's freaking fun and it makes movement fun. And why does it have to be hard? Why? I don't know at what point us adults start thinking that we have to take everything so seriously. And I think honestly, it's just the stacked pressures and traumas and burdens that we carry that start making us feel so heavy that we just lose it and we forget it. But I help women to remember that it's safe and it's fun and we're allowed to.
So, can you explain? Because I noticed for your coaching, you have emotional liberation coaching, and it looks like that specifically pulls in all those different modalities and trainings that you have done. So, could you kind of break down all the different parts that that touches?
Yeah, I mean, it intertwines with a lot of what I've said so far, but my goal is for women to feel liberated, for women to step into embodying this freedom. It's more about knowing how and having confidence and skills to be able to be present with the heavier parts of ourselves. I don't like the idea of people saying the negative emotions. So I call them messy emotions or heavier emotions because in parts work and internal family systems, there's no bad parts of us. Every part of us is working for us with positive intention. So we're connecting with understanding the positive intention of the parts of us that feel scared, the parts of us that feel angry, the parts of us that feel alarmed in any kind of way. The relationship we have with the emotion is what matters. There's liberation when we can feel scared, when we can feel angry even, and we can feel grief and sadness, and we aren't afraid of it, and we're not just trying to push it down or push it into a closet or under the rug, so to speak. We can be present with it, and we can guide ourselves and that part of us through the distressing moment of that emotion instead of fearing it. And then also, the other side of it is holding space for the lighter parts of us too. the freer, the more natural parts of ourselves too, inviting those parts to be present too. We have to do them in tandem. That's what I learned for me, is that my healing journey really skyrocketed and my life started transforming when I felt like I knew how to do both. When I wasn't just so wrapped up in all the heaviness of it and just talking over and over and over and over again about it and thinking about it constantly, but I was inviting the lighter emotions in to bring balance to the heavier emotions. And then I was no longer afraid of emotions in general. They were just starting to be seen as messengers, beautiful friends and messengers that are trying to help me on my journey. And so this liberation, this emotional liberation is in the one-to-one coaching, it's very specific to what your body is holding, to what traumatic experience of the past has caused this conditioning and this programming, and we're rewiring that programming together. In my online classes and in-person classes, we're doing that at large, and I'm doing invitations, but it's not as deep, it's not as personal, because when I'm with a client one-on-one, and this is why I work only with women, I have an intuitive part of me that feels the woundedness of a person. I feel it, I sense it, I see the younger versions of them that are holding the wounding. I can visualize and actually see that. And because of that, it's very emotionally connective for me in that experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can totally understand how, because it takes vulnerability not just from your client. You have moments of vulnerability too. There is that deep connection and intimacy
100%.
that, yep, that back and forth that you have that
Mhm.
allows for their walls to come down and for the healing and to actually happen versus them
Yeah.
being guarded the whole time.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable sharing some super simple somatic practices or techniques that maybe listeners can try integrating for themselves just to kind of see how it makes them feel and see if this is something that maybe would be beneficial for them?
Yeah. I mean, would you want me to do a guided version of what I was talking about a little bit earlier? People could actually stop and pause and feel into it and
Mm,
do it with me?
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to simply close your eyes because your eye muscles work so hard to search for threat and danger. And when we close our eyes, we can actually come home to our bodies. So I just invite you to put a hand on your heart or two hands on your heart or one hand on your heart and one hand on your stomach, whatever feels good to you. You can try and see what feels better for you. I love to give choice an option because that's how we take our power back.
Mhm.
So I just invite you to close your eyes and take a nice cleansing breath here with me in through your nose. We're going to hold it at the top and we're going to exhale slower and gentler, like you're blowing on hot coffee or hot soup. Taking another nice cleansing breath in at your own pace here, letting your inhale be shorter, about the count of 4. Letting your exhales be longer, about the count of 6 or an 8. Just allowing it. I don't like to get wrapped up in the numbers. Sometimes that can feel overwhelming to your nervous system. So just breathe. You're not going to do it wrong. There's no right or wrong here. Just allow yourself to breathe. And as you're breathing and continuing this breath, I just want to invite you to feel your hands on your body. Sense if you can feel the temperature of your hands on your body. Sense if you can feel the temperature of the air going in and out as you breathe. And I invite you to feel the support of the chair underneath you, noticing where your body is actually feeling supported right now, giving your brain new evidence that you are supported right here. Feeling your feet supported on the ground, feeling them rooted here. And I want to invite you for just a moment to notice on a stress scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really high stress, what is your stress level of activation right now? And just notice with curiosity, not judgment or criticism. Let's just be neutral observers of our body for a moment. I invite you to notice, where is your body holding tension and stress? So you can do a little movement check-in here. You can move your neck and your shoulders. You can move your back and your hips a little bit and just kind of feel into, where's the pain, the tension, constriction, heaviness. Where does the energy feel closed off? Like it's either pulling, or notice if it feels like it's stuck, like something's stuck there. Notice if it's moving or if it's not moving. Notice what the energy feels like inside of your body in that space. So usually, if I were to go longer, I would take you through a whole body scan to get really comfortable with each part of your body, just to notice. But we'll just go ahead and start with just even your forehead and your jaw, just kind of noticing your neck and your shoulders, noticing your chest, noticing your back, your upper part of your back, your middle part of your back, your lower part of your back. Noticing any sensations that grab your attention, coming around to the front, noticing your stomach, your abdomen, and pelvic floor area, and even your hips. These are some of the really key areas that we tend to hold a lot. So just notice which part of your body is holding the most or feels the most strained, the most tension, the most heaviness there. And I'm going to invite you to breathe into this space for a moment. We're just going to offer a moment of compassion and care and love to this part of our body that's holding this energy here. And if you might have a sense of what is actually being held here, maybe you can even ask your body before we breathe into it. Let's pause and ask your body, what emotion is held here? And if you don't know, just ask your body, ask that part of your body. If it's in your neck and shoulders, just say, okay, hey, body, what are we holding here? What emotions, what energy is held here? And your body will always speak to you. It will always reveal itself to you if you listen, if your heart is open. So, continuing this nice cleansing breath, letting your breath be slow and gentle, very nurturing to your nervous system. And if you feel open to digging a little bit deeper, one layer deeper, just ask your body, how long has it been holding this emotion and this energy here? And just notice with compassion and with curiosity. In my deeper one-to-one integration work, we would connect with that part that's in need of a resolution. It's in need of having that burden lifted for you. But for this moment, I'm just going to invite you to offer love and light and compassion to this part of your body and to where this emotion and energy is being held and kind of stuck in your body right now. So as we breathe, I'm going to invite you to go into breathing divine light and love from above your crown chakra, above your head, and just allow this beautiful golden yellow light as you continue in this gentle breath, breathing it in all the way through your spine, going out and exhaling through your feet. So we're just going to continue to do a beautiful breath of inhaling in at the top above you, just breathing in this beautiful golden honey nectar of light in through your body, and just fill up that space where all that tension is. We're not trying to get rid of it. We're not trying to make it go away. We're not trying to stop it. We're trying to nurture it. We're trying to lovingly respond to the part of you that's actually in need and has a core unmet need. So I invite you to just breathe into that space as you take these nice cleansing breaths. View it as like a cushion, Like you're bringing in this really beautiful cushion of loving energy, holding this space in your body that is holding all of the tension and stress and all of the emotional overwhelm that is here in a big way, just allowing yourself to be compassionate towards it. Allowing this beautiful light to flow through your whole body, down through and out your feet. And if you feel open to it, I want to invite you to simply offer a little bit of encouragement to yourself. And it can be as simple as this. You can just repeat my words, or you can change the words and make them your own and just say, I see you. We're just talking lovingly to this part of us that feels burdened and overwhelmed or is holding a lot. Just say, I feel you. And simply say, I'm with you. And just notice how that lands in your body. Notice how that feels somatically in your body, the energy to just have you even lovingly say those gentle, kind words. Instead of running away from it, instead of trying to suppress it or get rid of it, we're just simply being with it for a moment. This is the basis. This is the ground level foundation of all of the work that I do, is reframing how we respond to the emotions when they come up, how the anger, the fear, the grief, the pain that's present within us, we're just turning towards it instead of running away from it. And I want to invite you one last question before we wrap this up. I just want to invite you to ask this part of you, what is one thing that you need today to feel more supported and to feel a little safer? Just one tiny step, one thing. Maybe this part needs words, affirmation, validation. Maybe this part needs you to take one tiny step towards the direction that would help this part to feel lighter. Taking that nice cleansing breath in and slowly letting it out, breathing through your body, allowing your body to feel held here by you in this moment. Honoring your body and just thanking it. Thank you, body. Thank you for this information. Thank you for helping support me and guiding me through every difficult moment of my life before this moment. Your body is always working for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, body. And just keep leaning into what does this part actually need today from you, not from somebody else, but from you to feel more stability, more security, and more safety in this really messy world that we live in. Taking one last cleansing breath in from the top of your head, letting that beautiful light cleanse you all the way through every cell of your body, allowing every cell to be recoded with love, with compassion, with care, offering an energy of kindness and gentleness towards yourself. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and just sense, what does that feel like for your body? This is just a tiny, tiny little scratching of the surface of what I do, but it's the framework. It's the starting point. It's a loving connection to ourselves and our body.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And that was a great example of just taking 10 minutes to connect with yourself. This
Yeah.
is something that I highly suggest to all of my clients as well, is to just take 10 minutes before bed. Your day's done. You don't have anything else to do. Create that space for yourself to really connect and notice the subtle things that are happening and taking time to listen. And yeah, the meditation Jill just walked you through, perfect example. And that's something that you could either revisit this little part of this episode, or I'm sure Jill has some resources she can give you here in a few minutes to utilize for yourself. It's nothing complicated. And it is so overlooked that we have the power to do this for ourselves. And I think we underestimate how powerful it really is to connect with ourselves like that.
Well, some of us just feel uncomfortable. People just feel uncomfortable and they feel they just haven't been taught the skill. And so I like to look at this work that I'm doing with women, this retraining of our body and our brain together in harmony
Mhm.
with each other. It's like riding a unicycle. If you're gonna ride a unicycle, it's going to probably feel, because I don't know how to ride a unicycle. Do you know how to ride one? So we have to view it like that. Like, it would be uncomfortable at first. It's just unfamiliar to our brain. It feels sometimes hard to do at first because we're programmed into this hustle culture that doesn't pause, that doesn't connect, that doesn't slow down. And so the rewiring process is gentle, tiny steps over and over again of taking what I like to call sacred pauses with ourselves repeatedly. And if we can build a new rhythm of living where it becomes automatic, where we're taking sacred pauses throughout our day, even if they're just short, a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there, and letting all of that stack, it's reinforcing that new neural pathway that it's safe and it's good to do this. And then it just starts to become a lifestyle, which is beautiful when it can do that. When you can get to that point where it just starts flowing with more ease, and it becomes who you are, it's amazing.
I love that you brought that up. And I think you were reading my mind because that was a note that I had here where it was talking about it feels uncomfortable at first. It feels strange. It feels foreign. But the more you do it, the more your body is accustomed to it. And you don't have to take longer periods of time to try to get your nervous system to come down. You know what to do, you know what your body needs, and you can just kind of tap into that as you need it. So
Yeah.
speaking of resources, and things that people can do for themselves, how do people get a hold of you?
So the easiest thing is that you can find me on my website, Dancing in the Mess, but you can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Dancing in the Mess. Those are my handles for that as well. And then I have a podcast too called Dancing in the Mess.
Yeah, and I will make sure to link all those in the description below so people can just easily access and click on what they need to. So, one of the things I'm trying to do with this, because with this podcast, inspiration is a big thing. You know, you never know who's going to be listening, what thing you're going to say that's going to click in their brain and inspire them to try something different or make a change for themselves. Do you have any words of inspiration or encouragement to people that may be listening to this that just intuitively feel like it might be something they need to hear?
Yes, definitely. So Dancing in the Mess is all about taking one tiny step at a time. The way that we rewire our nervous systems, the way that we allow new neural pathways of our brain to be developed is through repetition and small, tiny steps of action. The only way to transform your life from a place of safety is allowing yourself to take one uncomfortable step that's within your window of tolerance. Still, it's just like barely outside of your window of tolerance. It feels a little uncomfortable. It feels, a little foreign to you. It feels a little awkward. The goal is to say, okay, what can I do to help myself feel supported to do this new thing? What do I need? Sometimes the very first step is just giving yourself permission to do it imperfectly, to do it messy, to allow it to feel a little uncomfortable. And you take steps forward based on your level of comfortability. We don't heal through force. We heal through flow. And curiosity is the key. So we're taking a step and we see how our body responds to that step. And we create the support for our nervous system to then take another step. And then we take another step. And this is the art of dancing in the mess, one tiny step at a time.
That's perfect. Yeah, allow yourself to be uncomfortable, allow yourself to be curious, and trust that you are going to get yourself there step by step.
So that's why I have an online membership where women all over the world come together, and it's a lovely, tight-knit little community, but then in person too, to like breathe in space with each other. And I call everything I do like a practice playground because that's what we're doing.
You're definitely doing such important work. And thank you so much for being on here today and sharing that with me and with everybody that's listening.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms so you never miss a new episode. If you're a holistic or wellness provider or someone with a healing journey you feel called to share, we'd love to connect. Visit www.tjtbodywork.com to reach out. And please make sure to join us for the next episode of Transformative Talks.